This is a beautiful story of friendship, but a song about friendship as well. And Carole King wrote this. I mean, she's a fabulous songwriter. We all know that. And lent this song to James Taylor, and this is a version of them singing it together. So it is a song that just sings to your soul.
Like I said, this is a tune that Carol wrote, and I recorded it on my most recent album because I really like it. And since a lot of other people seem to like it too, they pulled it for a single, for whatever that's worth.
He seems so humble.
When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right.
They both have really interesting voices because I feel like they're both not classically often they have things in their voices that perhaps singing teachers might try and get rid of. I don't think nowadays. I think singing teaching has moved on quite a lot, and it's often more about bringing out the best in someone's voice in the way that they want it, finding their unique traits. It depends on kind of what section of vocal coaching you work in. If you're working in musical theatre, of course, then your voice is going to be more about adapting your voice to different characters. But certainly the music industry, I think it's more about finding your uniqueness. His voice is interesting because it has a nasality, and Carole King's is interesting because it has a kind of a roughness to its edge. It's kind of like rusty in a beautiful way, and I love that. I think it's the humanity and the uniqueness in their voices that made it stand out. Now, there's a reason that he can do a cover song and it become as big as the original, because his voice carries it in a way that is unique and tells the story in a unique way. Sometimes people don't like covers, but I like it. I think that it's, even if it's quite similar, it's just interesting to hear another person's interpretation. You really hear the person in that when you hear the contrast.
Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up, even your darkest night.
It's so simple but so perfectly constructed.
Call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you've got to do is call, and I'll be there, yeah. Now you've got a friend.
You know, I think that's really hard to find connecting, simple melodies that just really mean something to people. There's not many songwriters who can do that, and I actually know someone who's done very well on TikTok, and I think that is something that has connected her to people, is a singer called Rose Betts. She has this amazing, it reminds me of it, this amazing ability to take a simple concept, a simple melody that is somehow different than all the other melodies in the world, yet so familiar, and make it into something that's just simply beautiful. I'd recommend checking out Rose Betts' work. But Carole King was definitely someone who had that. All these songs, they're familiar, they're yet different, yet everyone, they're so universal. Everyone understands the emotion behind these. You feel like they're from a more innocent time as well.
That old north wind should begin to blow. Keep your head together and call my name out loud now, baby.
That was a nice. So the problem often with nasality is it can kind of suck some of your resonance out. If the air is coming through your nose, often a lot of those vibrations get caught up in the tissue behind your nose. And he managed to maintain. He actually moved, I think, to a place of twang. I couldn't 100% say without scoping him or something like that, putting a little camera down his throat or down his nose. But as he went up to that mix, it was a really beautiful placement where he got a bit of twang, which kind of matched that nasality that he's using in his lower range. Yet he technically managed to get up there. Often it kind of gets caught behind your nose and you're like, what? You can't get quite up to those notes if it is just nasality. It also was surprising because of that lower range. You're like, wow, that came out of nowhere. And he's very, very subtle with how he's using it. Because it's only in that little place, it really hits you, it really means something because it's not constant. Now, there is a place for people with those big show-offy voices, but there's also a place to leave it until the right moment. And then it really, really hits you. It's clever. It's clever singing. And something that's really interesting about him is he has synesthesia, which is that when he hears a sound, he sees colours. That's interesting. It's something that I am not quite sure if I have. I see visions. I see a visual image with sounds when I'm hearing music. And he is specifically colours. I suspect that mine is maybe perhaps just more of a visual imagination, and it often is combined with images of animals or... It's strange. Let me know if there's something that you have too. Whereas, for example, he says he sees a sort of brown colour when he hears the G chord. For me, it's, I guess with a song like this, because it's constantly moving, there's a lot of images going on. This is so warm. In fact, to be honest, this to me is like a burgundy, but it's like material. So, I don't know, it has a texture. So it's kind of interesting. How do you perceive music? Some people perceive it just audibly. Some people have a vision that goes along. Some people have literally synesthesia where the colours can interfere with your visual field. And some people have it just feels different. You feel it in your body. I definitely feel it as well. You just call out my name. It's like a cuddle, right? This song anyway. Wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall. Now all you've got to do is call on me, and I'll be there, yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell me, ain't good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold. I love the shift here. You, yes, and desert you. They'll take your soul if you let them, but don't you let them. It's interesting how it moved to that darker place. I feel like, as I say, there's an innocence in the songwriting as well. It feels very, feels like the world's got a lot more complicated. And that we are living in this very complex network of emotions and being. It doesn't have to be, but it is for most of us. And here's just like, here's my emotions in this simple form, and it has this beauty of like just love, and I love that about it, because actually at the core of it, it isn't as complex as we think. I don't think. You just call out my name. And I mean, this song shaped the sound of this era, didn't it? Carole King certainly did. And James Taylor.
Now all you've got to do is call, and I'll be there, yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you've got a friend. You've got a friend. Ain't it good to know that you've got a friend?
It's so soothing.
Ain't it good to know? Ain't it good to know? Ain't it good to know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it feels like a breath of fresh air. When I hear and see this music and feel this music, it's like it's a breath of fresh air on an autumn day. It's soothing and cozy and warm and simple, and it brings me back to like a nostalgia. It's a nostalgic time in a way. Times are really different now, I think, and the sound of our music is very different now, and that's okay, but it just reflects that moment. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe. I've also just released my very own album, Fable. It's available on my website, but you can also check out the first few songs on Spotify and here on YouTube, and I'd love if you could check it out. It's not as beautifully simple as this, I don't think, but go check it out. And I shall see you in the next one.